So here's the thing, Prince Harry is officially being cut off, and I don't mean like, oh, Daddy took away the credit card cut off. I mean the king just slammed the door on royal money, no more help, no more support, no more backup. King Charles reportedly made it very clear Harry doesn't get a single dime from the royal pot anymore, and the vibe from the palace, it's not we're sorry, it's let him figure it out now. This isn't just some rich family squabble. This is about control, reputation, and the royal brand. The moment Harry and Meghan packed up and moved to California, they said they were chasing independence, no more royal duties. No more being part of the firm. They wanted to live life on their terms. But here's the twist. Walking away is one thing, staying away is another. For years now, Harry's been riding this fine line. On one hand is telling the world he doesn't need a monarchy. On the other is still using the perks that came with being born into it. It's like quitting your job, but still trying to use the office cafeteria and company car. And Charles has had enough sources close to the palace say the king is tired of the drama, tired of the interviews, the documentaries, and memoirs that paint the royal family as villain while they stayed mostly silent publicly. This move speaks volumes. Cutting of royal funds isn't just about money, it's a message. This is Charles saying, you made your bed, now lie in it. And it's kind of wild when you think about it. This is a father drawing a line in the sand with his own son, not because he wants to, but because he thinks he has to. It's like, you wanted freedom, haters. Let's see what you do with it when the royal safety net dissipates. And this safety net, it wasn't just about spending money on fancy suits or private jets. It was protection, security, staff, connections, the invisible infrastructure that holds a prince's life together. Without that, things get real. Harry's living in Monarchy now, where the price of breathing fresh air costs more than most people's rent. He's got a wife, 2 kids, and a lifestyle that doesn't exactly scream budget-friendly. Private security alone in the U.S. runs into the millions. Add to that the pressure to keep up appearances, maintain relevance, and keep the cash flowing from entertainment deals. That's a lot. Remember, those Netflix and Spotify contracts weren't blank checks. They were deals, deliverables, deadlines. And when the buzz starts dying down, so does the money. People move on, algorithms change, public sympathy fades. So what happens when the money slows, but the bills don't? That's a question the royal family wants Harry to wrestle with. Charles isn't playing games. From the inside, they're saying, this is about more than money, it's about principle. You don't get to torch the family image on global television, sell your version of events in the best-selling memoir, and then expect the people you drag to still write you checks. That's not how this works, and honestly, it's kind of power move. The palace didn't release a statement, no press conference, just silence, and then boom, cut him off. At how the royals do things. They don't rant, they don't cry on camera, they wait, and then they act. This could be the most public slap, yet no more money, no more fallback, just the cold reality of independence. And now the whole world's watching, because what Harry does next, that where things get interesting. Meghan's silence through all of this has been deafening. No statements, no subtle hints through sources close to the couple, not even a carefully worded podcast jab. But don't get it twisted, just because she hasn't said anything doesn't mean she's not feeling the heat. People close to the situation say she's living behind the scenes, not just of the royal family, but how fast the narrative is slipping out of their hands. When Harry and Meghan first left the UK, there was a plan, at least it looked like one. Step out of the shadow of the crown, tell their story, build a brand on authenticity, healing, and independence. They had Oprah, they had Netflix, they had Spotify. For a while it was working. They weren't just ex-royals, they were redefining what royalty looked like outside the palace walls. But it turns out building an empire without royal clout is harder than it looks. Deals require momentum, and momentum needs public interest. But after a few projects and some lukewarm reception, people began asking, what's next? What are they doing? And when the answers started sounding like another tell-all or more royal drama, even their most loyal fans started checking out. Now, with the money in question, the cracks are starting to show. Word as the couple is being forced to reassess everything. Investment, staff, real estate. There's even been chatter that they might downsize, maybe even sell off part of their Monarchy estate, because maintaining a mansion, 2 kids, full-time staff, and top-tier private security in California, that's not sustainable without serious, consistent cash flow. And this is where things start to get personal. Insiders say King Charles didn't make this call lightly, but after years of being portrayed as cold, detached, even cruel, this was his line in the sand. Is tired of the optics, tired of being dragged in interviews where he doesn't get to respond, tired of being the father who's always painted as a villain. This wasn't just about Harry either. The entire institution is watching. The courtiers, the staff, the Extended family, all of them, have had to deal with the fallout every time a new project drops. There's a wave of headlines backlash and tension. Even William, who's tried to stay out of the mud, is reportedly at his limit. Sources say he's been backing his father's decision from day one. To him, this was overdue. He believes Harry made his choice a long time ago, and now it's time to live with it. And here's where the stakes get even higher, because this isn't just about a father and a son having a rough patch. This is about brand damage. Meghan and Harry built their post-royal identity on the idea that they were free, thriving, and unbothered. But once financial questions start popping up, the image takes a hit. And let's be real, once headlines start asking if a prince is going bankrupt, that brand loses value fast. No one wants to buy into a story of empowerment that's crumbling under financial pressure. So now they're stuck rebuild a brand without more royal drama. That takes real creativity. Go back to the well and release more secrets. That risks burning whatever bridges are left in the royal family. They're not reaching out. They've made their move. It's radio silence from the palace, but it's a very loud kind of silence, the kind that says we're done helping. The kind that leaves you standing on your own no matter how high the spotlight shines, because if you walk away from the crown, you'd better be ready to carry the weight that comes with it. There's something about royal exile that feels permanent, even if no one says it out loud. For Prince Harry, the door to the palace isn't just closed, it's bolted shut with a sign that says, "Figure it out yourself." The king's message couldn't be clearer. Independence means consequences, and now Harry is living that reality in real time. What's wild is that this moment was probably inevitable. From the second he and Meghan went public with their side of the story, the clock started ticking. The royal family might operate behind thick curtains of tradition and silence, but they never forget. And when you broadcast family secrets to the world, don't expect to be greeted with hugs at Christmas. But for Harry, this isn't just about family, it's about identity. Being a royal isn't just a title, it's a lens through which the world sees you. Strip that away, and what's left? A man trying to redefine himself while carrying a name that never really lets him go. Is no longer working royalty, but he'll never be not Prince Harry either. And that in-between space, it's brutal. Is trying to balance a new life in America, raise 2 kids, keep up with Meghan's ambitions, and somehow stay relevant in a world that moves on fast. One minute the world is hanging on your every word, the next your old news, and no amount of name recognition can keep the spotlight on you behind closed doors. Those closest to Harry say he's struggling with what comes next. The Netflix buzz has died down. The Spotify deal was quietly shelved. The memoir landed. But what happens after you've told your story? What's the encore? When the biggest hits are behind you, there's talk of another documentary, maybe a new platform focused on mental health, but the public is harder to win over now. Sympathy is fragile, and the narrative of wounded prince seeks peace as a shelf life. People want newness, growth. They want to see action, not just confessionals. And here's the kicker. He knows that Harry's not dumb. He knows he's standing at a crossroads, and whichever path he picks next will shape his legacy. He can't just be the guy who left the royal family. That story is old now. He has to become someone new without the crown propping him up. Some insiders believe this financial cutoff might actually be the best thing for him, because when the fallback is gone, you're forced to rise or fall. And Harry's got potential, whether people want to admit it or not. Is charismatic, well-spoken, and actually relatable in a way most royals never are. Actually relatable in a way most royals never are. But he's got to let go of the need to defend himself all the time. The more he tries to justify, explain, or correct the record, the less powerful his voice becomes. Their strength in silent and moving forward and building something real, not just something reactive. And let's not forget the kids, Archie and Lila, are growing up in a world that will always know who they are, even if they never set foot in Buckingham Palace. Again, what kind of example does Harry want to set for them? That you keep fighting old battle forever, or that you learn when to stop swinging and start building? The king made his move, the royal purse is closed, but maybe, just maybe, this is the moment Harry starts becoming something more than a headline. Because if there's one thing exile forces you do, it's grow up. And now all eyes are on whether Prince Harry can finally stand without leaning on a crown.